Hi friends, it's JG here with Earth 5D University. Back for another teaching, guys. Here at Earth 5D University, talking about consciousness, talking about growing our perspective and our awareness of life, understanding and applying that higher frequency, more awareness, more consciousness to the everyday life. Not just the pie in the sky, not just the, fake spirituality stuff. We're talking about actual things actual ways, actual belief systems, and actual things that will change your life for real, right here in your everyday world. So I'm coming to you from my bedroom, right? This is a personal experience. This is where I live. This is where I work. And I'm doing this intentionally to help you understand me, so you can help to get the insight and information that you need to help you change your personal life. I think sometimes we glamorize spiritual teachers, or we glamorize leaders out there, and we think, oh, they must be perfect, or they must have such an easy time or something. And it's not true. The ones that are very genuine, we go through everything else that anyone else goes through. So not only do I talk about spiritual things that I've used in my own life to heal myself, I've actually lived through so many different experiences just being present in the world. I have a long time in corporate America, 20 years. Had so many different experiences academically, just loving school, loving university, loving learning, really applying myself to that, working with the honors program and other things like that to just really try to master what it's like to absorb information, that way at least. And then there's spiritual information, right? And learning all the energy stuff. So I take this knowledge and I really want to help you to integrate it into your life in a way that I try to do it myself. So I'm not just talking, I'm actually doing the things that I'm teaching, and also I'm working with the energy that you guys bring to me so I can also learn from you. So thank you for your journey. It means a lot to me, it means the world to me. So thank you guys. I wanted to share with you, I want to let you know that I am a mother, right? Being a mom is a huge part of my life. Some of you call me Earth 5D Mom. It's super appropriate. I have always been a mom to children, even as a young person, even as a child myself. And so I just wanted to share with you, today's Valentine's Day, and I got these little Valentines for my kids. So I have a son who's 18, and then I have two little ones, an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old. So they keep me going, they keep me young. So this one is a butterfly, and it has love and it has a little description to explain what love is. Each letter has a description. And then this is for my 5-year-old. And she said, roses are red, violets are blue. I love you. So it's hilarious watching kids learn how to read and write. It's so difficult. If you have kids of your own, it's so difficult, because they don't think that they need to learn how to read and write. They're like, no, I'm good. And that's kind of how it is for us, right, with spirituality. Sometimes we're like, no, I'm good. But many of us, including myself, it's like learning to read and write like a child. We're really trying to decode, trying to understand how we fit into this world and what the hell is happening here, right? So I wanted to talk today about sexuality, sex, intimacy, and it's one of my favorite topics. I was told at a very young age that I would probably heal people's sexuality. I mean, I was like 19, I had no idea what that meant, and I was with a group of contemplative monks and in Chicago suburb, and they, Spirit just led me to a bunch of interesting people to help me heal. And so one of these guys, his name was Bruce, and just loved him, and he just kind of disappeared out of my life, but he helped me heal in so many ways. And so let's talk about that, sex and intimacy. So sadly, I feel like we've uncoupled sexuality from intimacy. So sexuality and spirituality seem like way different buckets, right? Because of the Catholic Church and that whole empire that happened with Rome, and that's been, happening for over 2,000 years, right? We have uncoupled sexuality from spirituality, and that's sad. It's so sad, because it's given us such a distorted perception of what sexuality is. And so because it's Valentine's Day, I think it's important to think about self-love, intimacy with the self, and also with others, because I really do feel, I'm predicting that with, a psychic gifts that I have, is that I feel like union is coming for more people. We're going to be finding our divine counterparts. We're going to be finding these unions. Some call them twin flame. Other people are triggered by that word. It doesn't really matter what it's called. Who cares what it's called? You just experience it. It's what you experience. It doesn't really matter what it's called. It's the experience of going through it that defines it, not what you call it. You could call it something all day long, but if you're not doing the work, then you might as well, it doesn't even matter, right? So I was passionate about this one. So, because there's so much debate out there. But essentially, what we want to do nowadays in 2021 or whenever you get here, is we want to start to bridge the gap between sexuality and spirituality, and we need to bring those two together because they are absolutely not separate. This whole concept of the priest and the nuns not being sexual, not taking the vow of celibacy, it did such a disservice to humanity because people thought that, oh, to be close to God, there is no sex allowed, and that is just ridiculous. It's absolutely absurd when you put it into perspective. So I know that some of you might not, this might be like a head scratcher, like you might not be able to do that or to put those two together right now, but it's something that you could consider working on. So we want to think about sexuality as sacred, the act of sex as sacred, the physical act. So when we think of the physical act of sex, usually it is thought to be like very taboo, which is very strange because everyone has sex when you're an adult mostly, unless you're taking a break, but usually we're trying to get back to that. There's been, just to be honest and full disclosure, there's been periods of my life where I absolutely took huge breaks off of sex, just because I wasn't ready to share myself. I needed to hit the reset button. And so I'm not saying that you have to, I'm a spiritual teacher on a different path, but there's things that I've done just naturally. I mean, I didn't say, oh, I have to be celibate, right? It was to kind of hit the reset button and become very clear and aware of the energies that I wanted present inside of me. And I've done a video on this before, and I'll link it above, where I talked about how sexual energy from another lives inside of you. And so it does kind of become part of you. And as a female, that can be troublesome because, and for a male too, but because we have a womb, it can plug up that area where the energy is not flowing as freely for you. So because sexuality has been sort of distorted, right? There's been a distorted kind of understanding of it, and we've coupled sexuality with like the porn industry or something taboo that can't be talked about. It's become sort of a mutant in society, and we tend to look at sex in we commercialize it. And what I feel like we need to do, and I hope that you become an active participant in this process in your own life, is that you learn what it means to have sacred sex, that you learn what it means to bring sacredness to the sexual practice. Now, what that could mean a lot of things, and it does mean a lot of things to a lot of different people. And so you can experiment with what it means for you. This is an invitation. So I'm not big into hard and fast rules because I don't think they work. I think everyone has their own situation and their own intimate connection to spirit. So we can't make blanket statements, I don't believe, because we have to kind of work with spirit individually. Okay, and that's why people say, well, I want to learn what you do, your process. And the process is unlearning usually. We have to unlearn. So, okay, so here's some ideas for you, okay? Here's some ideas. So when you think about sexuality and sex, think about how orgasmic the universe is. Think about how orgasmic the earth is. I mean, it's literally bursting with life. And when we say that word orgasmic, right, we think, oh, that's so taboo, that's so, you're talking like about sex and, it just seems to me that it's difficult for people to talk about it, especially women. I mean, there's many women that are totally not orgasmic and no one's talking about it. So I think that's a problem. So if you look around you, the universe is teeming with life. It's teeming with ecstasy. And here's a problem with some of the darker forces out here that I invite you to just observe. Is that they take nice, beautiful concepts and words and make it into something trashy, like junk food. And so the drug ecstasy, right, really takes us outside, which I've done. I don't do drugs anymore, but I've definitely tried a lot of different things. But it takes you so out of what's the true natural ecstasy of life. And it kind of distorts it because suddenly you have to have a drug to do it, right? And so that's no fun. You don't want to be, that's more like the devil energy. You don't want to be tied into a substance to give you the ecstasy of life. Okay, I'm sure some of you are like, what's wrong with drugs? Nothing. But wouldn't it be better if you're just free? Just free to experience the ecstasy of life. So with that ecstasy, look around you. Try to feel the ecstasy inside the earth. Try to feel and connect to the orgasmic nature of plants, flowers, trees, Mother Nature. It's pulsing with life. And so it's there for you. These are just thoughts, okay? Another thing, think about the eyes, okay? The eyes are a window to the soul. You can have pleasure and orgasmic feelings just with the eyes, right? You don't need like porn or, these are the subtle, we're getting back to the subtle flow of sexuality in life, just all around us. There is no taboo anymore. There is no behind closed doors, And it doesn't mean you have to limit what you think is sexual or like kinky or something. You can be as kinky as you want to be, and spirit can be in that. Spirit is not separate from these sexual acts that you enjoy. It's all together. It's all there. It's all there. So that might be really weird for some of you, especially if you grew up like Catholic, Christian, Muslim. A lot of religions preach that sexuality is something dark and dirty. And I guess therefore it has become that. So we want to take it out of the closet sort of thing and bring sexuality into the mainstream of your life with spirit and link those two together. Okay, another thought on this same line of thinking is think about the quality of interactions you want to have sexually. Okay, because a lot of people have been doing a lot of spiritual junk food and a lot of sexual junk food, like dining on the Fritos of sexuality, dining on the Cheetos of sexuality, instead of dining on the healthy, nutritious sexual energy that will sustain you, that will help you to create life, and more life with your partner or without a partner. All right, guys, so these are like new ideas to think about. But if you're pursuing spiritual junk food and you're pursuing relationships that are just very surface level, and the sex is like just you wish you didn't, or it's leaving you hungry for something, and you're just trying to consume more and more junk food to get full, you're just like a rat in a, you're just a rat running the rat race. So we want to take ourselves out of that dynamic. And we want to begin to, with intention, just intention, begin to decide what we want sexually. Do we want the junk food, or do we want the sustaining meal that not only gives you what you need nutritionally, but adds to your life, takes you further? All right, guys, so things to think about. If you need help with your own life, your own sexual life and what you're creating and your own relationships, feel free to hit me up. I'm running a Valentine's Day sale to help everyone out. 20% off of readings and services. If you need it, let me know. And I thank you for being present. I thank you for your energy. I thank you for your own journey. Try not to judge yourself. We have to unlock the judgment. It's not real. No one's judging us on the other side of this dimension. So much love and light. And I'll see you next time. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.